My husband, 50, is dumbfounded that I, 45 female, am leaving him because he became broke. My husband and I fell in love 25 years ago and married. I supported him, and he was lucky to fall into a career where he failed upwards. I have a comfortable job, so while it doesn't pay well, I can expect a reasonable pension when I retire. He's a serial cheater. I found out when I was 30. I was devastated that he cheated once, but I rationalized it that it was a one-time mistake. I later found out that he would cheat constantly and had cheated throughout our marriage. I lost any belief I had in love because I believed that he would be the one man who would never cheat. My prior boyfriend had cheated on me. My dad cheated on my mom. I grew up hearing that a man is only as loyal as his options, and my husband had a lot of options. He also had a lot of cash to flash. Honestly, I stayed for the money. If I was going to get cheated on, why not in a comfortable life? I didn't have to do chores. I don't have to worry about money. I'm a relatively modest person in some ways, so I wouldn't spend money on a nice car, a luxurious house, or expensive food. However, I invested in my face and body for beauty and health. My husband has a massive gambling problem, and he lost his cushy job. He can't manage to find another one that pays well. He thought I would stay by his side and help him rebuild. I told him that I wanted a divorce. There's no point in being married to him if he didn't have money. I retained a lawyer and served him divorce papers. My lawyer recommended I get out before my husband started draining retirement accounts. I have no desire to date again. I can survive on my own. I enjoy my job, which pays me enough for a modest, comfortable living. He was dumbfounded and very hurt. Am I the idiot for leaving my cheater husband when he became poor? So he cheated and has a gambling problem. What a catch. No, thank you. You are not the idiot. He played you and got played back. Well played, you. But it's a possibility that you may have to give him part of your retirement account in the divorce. When I divorced many years ago, I got a portion of my ex's 401k, so please check with your lawyer on that. That's why it's recommended she got out before he starts draining his retirement accounts. OP, the same reason you stayed is the same reason you're leaving. Money. What kept you in the marriage no longer exists. You had a mutually beneficial relationship. He cheated and you knew, but you liked the extra income. When one side doesn't get the benefit anymore, it's time to cut your losses and go. If he wanted total loyalty from you, he should have given that to you. Get free and enjoy the rest of your life. Right? It's so bizarre to me that people will cheat on their spouses and then have the nerve to talk about unconditional loyalty. Like you get what you give to others. If someone disrespects you in the biggest way, don't pull the shocked Pikachu face when they treat you the same. But I can't imagine sticking around for 15 years for the money. You don't get those years back. Doesn't seem worth it to me. Everyone's the idiot here. He's a cheater, and you wasted your life on a cheater. LOL, everyone's the idiot here is the right answer. Her husband is a scumbag gambling cheater, and she's a shallow gold digger. Spending your life married to someone you don't care about and ditching them when the money stops. What comes around goes around, lady. It would be funny if you had to pay alimony since you now earn more. You wasted your life, OP, and look what you got. I disagree. Since in OP's experience from former relationships and her parents' marriage, all men are cheaters anyway. She doesn't need another relationship just to get cheated on again. So if she spent those years in the marriage caring for herself, maybe pursuing her hobbies and interests, and living a comfortable life, I wouldn't call them wasted. What happened? My daughter Brooke's birthday was on Friday, so we celebrated at home. Everything was going well until it was time for singing. Brooke blew out the candles, and her cousin Aria blew on the cake too. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law said oops and apologized. Aria didn't understand. It was just an accident. But then Brooke turned it into a scene. She snapped at Aria, raising her voice and calling Aria a stupid brat. I immediately got firm and told Brooke to apologize. Brooke tried to argue that Aria ruined her birthday candles. I told Brooke, I don't care who you are or what day it is. It's never okay to treat a toddler that way, as a 20-year-old adult. Brooke refused to apologize and stormed off. After everyone had left, I informed Brooke that because she refused to apologize for how she acted towards her cousin, I was returning her purse, which was the main gift I had bought her. She also got a Stanley Cup, but I let her keep it since it's something practical for school. Brooke tried arguing that she was too old for me to confiscate her things and that returning the purse was going too far. But I just told Brooke that I bought the purse with my own money and was free to do what I pleased with it. And if she wanted to act like a child, then she'd get treated like one. Why I'm writing. My wife, Kimberly, said that she would not rebuy the purse for Brooke and agreed Brooke was out of line for how she treated Aria during the birthday celebration. But Kim said that I should have been more understanding for Brooke because of what's going on with Jessie. Jessie's been Brooke's best friend since they were in 4th grade. The problem is that Jessie recently got engaged and her fiancé is not a good guy. Brooke and Jessie's family staged an intervention to talk to Jessie, but Jessie's insistent on the marriage and has been talking to Brooke less and less. Of course, I understand that that's heartbreaking, and I'm sorry that Brooke must experience that with her friend. But what's happening with Jessie has nothing to do with how Brooke treated Aria. If Brooke had snapped at Aria, but immediately apologized afterward, I could see how returning the purse could be considered unfair. But I think Kimberly's being too lenient with our daughter, and Brooke needs to understand that going through a difficult situation is not an excuse to behave poorly towards others. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. A 20-year-old cursing out a toddler is too far. Also, the irony of this from your daughter, Brooke tried arguing that she's too old for me to be confiscating her things and returning the purse was going too far. She's too old to be behaving like a spoiled brat at 20 years old. She needs to be able to regulate her emotions when a toddler makes a small mistake, and not apologizing is ridiculous. You can have empathy for her going through a crap time with her friend, but she doesn't get to take it out on others around her, especially little ones, without a concept of their mistakes. Not okay. This wouldn't be acceptable as a social norm in college or at the workplace. Don't let it slide now. Same. I was expecting an age difference of 2 to 4 years, and neither of them was older than a tween. I'm aghast that a 20-year-old would cuss out a toddler. Returning the purse might seem harsh to Brooke, but it's a clear message that disrespectful behavior won't be tolerated, especially towards family members. Your wife, Kimberly, appears to agree with the decision too, so you're not alone in this. I was hoping Brooke would learn from this experience and understanding the importance of treating others with kindness and respect, no matter what's happening in her personal life. So, who was supposed to be supervising the toddler? And did Brooke even want the child there? This was likely the straw that broke the camel's back, and it would not be shocking if OP's daughter's having a breakdown, yet her parents are more worried about punishing her than recognizing that their daughter is having an extremely rough time, especially given OP doesn't seem to actually believe that watching Jessica be in an abusive relationship is serious enough to affect Brooke's mental health. I, a male teen, was a product of an affair. My mom cheated on her husband, my brother's dad, which caused their divorce. My brother, 30, and I had a good relationship, but his relationship with our mom wasn't okay. The problem started when I was around 11, and my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer. My mom and I were poor, and we didn't really have insurance, so she wasn't able to afford treatment. Over time, she was getting progressively worse. When I was 13, I decided to ask my brother if he could help pay for our mom's treatment because we couldn't afford it, and he and Dad are very well off. However, he refused. By the time I was 14, I had asked about 5 times already because I was desperate and didn't want to lose my mom. The last time I asked my brother for help, he yelled at me and told me to stop asking him for money because he wasn't going to give me a dime, and our mom would be the last person he'd help. After my brother said that, my relationship with him started to deteriorate, and 3 months later, my mom died. I had to live with my aunt as she gained custody of me. After the funeral, I completely decided to stop having a relationship with my brother altogether. My aunt is his aunt, so it's kind of tricky to avoid him altogether, but I try my best. He's been trying to come over to my aunt's place more often and to communicate with me, but I've always just locked myself in my room until he left. The problem was today. My aunt decided to hand me her phone and told me my brother wanted to talk to me. Usually when she does this, I just hang up the phone on him, but I guess she knew what I was about to do and told me to please just talk to him. So I just decided to hear what he wanted to say, just for her. He basically asked me how I was doing and wanted to tell me that he looked forward to seeing me graduate this year. He also asked me if he could potentially take me on a trip for my birthday, April 3rd, because it falls on spring break. I told him no thanks and that I'd prefer he didn't come to my graduation, and I hung up. He tried calling my aunt again, but I said I didn't want to talk to him. My aunt said okay and didn't try to get me to talk to him again. After about an hour or so, my aunt came into my room crying and told me that I should rebuild a connection with him and that our mom wouldn't want us to act this way toward each other. I told my aunt that I was sorry, but I didn't think our relationship could go back to the way it used to be, and I only tolerated him because of her. When I said that, she just told me she understood and left me alone. But I heard her go into her room, and I could hear her crying through the walls. And I didn't know what to do. I know I can't stop him from coming to my graduation if I wanted to, but I just don't want him there at all. Am I the idiot? So let me get this straight. You both share the same mom. She cheated on his dad when your brother was still relatively young. You're the product of a different dad. So where's your dad in all of this mess? Either way, both of you are not the idiot. Your mother's lung cancer may have progressed way too far in advance after 2 years. He's not obligated to help, and he may not be as well off as you think. Good luck, and I hope you both heal from this. I'm going with no idiots here. You have a right to your feelings. So does your brother. I guess the treatment wouldn't have saved her, but I understand. She didn't get the chance to try. It's just a crappy situation that was honestly placed upon you and your brother by your mother. I'm so sorry you bore witness to your mother's suffering. That's more than any child should be burdened with. As for now, however, your feelings are valid. You can choose who you want to be at the graduation. This is your call. My husband, 26, and I, female, 25, have 3 kids. Our eldest is a preteen, and then we have a preschooler and a baby. My husband's sister, 30, is getting married. Our relationship with her could be better. She's always making unnecessary comments. I know that she dislikes me a lot. She hasn't liked me since the first time my then boyfriend introduced us together. Then when I got pregnant, I was still in school, and my boyfriend had just started college. He dropped out, and we needed a lot of support from our families to settle down. So my sister-in-law thinks that I messed up her brother's and family's life because I didn't get an abortion at the time. She's always been rather hostile. We mostly only see her at family gatherings. She doesn't visit or anything, and honestly, that's better. She's caused problems before because she says that my husband was the golden child and she was the scapegoat. And then when I got pregnant, their parents basically adopted me and spoiled me because I was with my husband. So she sent invitations for her wedding. She sent my husband his invitation, which had his name and our 3 kids' names, not mine. My hubby asked her about this, and she said that I'm not pleasant to be around, so I'm not invited. He told her that it was extremely disrespectful since I was his wife. They argued a bit through text, and my husband told her not to count on him or the kids because they weren't going. She blamed it on my hubby being immature. My in-laws tried to mediate between them, She replied to them saying that she wasn't surprised that they were taking our side. They argued, and my in-laws said that since she had this attitude, they also weren't going to the wedding. Immediately after, she started blaming me. She said that this was all my fault because I could have just accepted that I wasn't invited and allowed my husband and my children to exist without me for a couple of hours. She also called me stupid, uneducated, spoiled, and said that I have princess syndrome. I told my husband and his parents this, and they told some other family members, and now apparently a lot of them canceled their assistance as well. She keeps blaming it all on me. Yes, I didn't tell my husband to go, I admit, so I think that's why I may be the idiot. I could have just prevented such a big drama, and I didn't. Also, I think she's just an idiot in general, but in this case, she might be for expecting my husband to be okay with her leaving me behind. It wasn't up to you to say anything. He made his choice. An invitation isn't a summons, and she didn't want to accept the consequences of her not inviting you, which was for him to choose not to come. She didn't prepare for the outcome and now wants to blame you for her choice. Too bad for her. You are not the idiot. I'm very curious about why the sister hates OP so much. I bet the parents could have used some, if not all, of the sister's college money back in the beginning, and it may very well be that she was cast aside because OP was pregnant with the first grandchild. Also, the brother could have been the golden child between them growing up, and when he got OP pregnant, OP became more important than the sister. OP mentioned getting a lot of support from his parents, so I'm guessing that's where a lot of their time, money, and attention went, and sister-in-law's resentful. It would explain the golden child comments as well. However, it's not OP's fault. If the sister was the scapegoat, it seems she's now trying to make OP the scapegoat. If the sister-in-law's been mistreated by her family all these years, it feels like she's better off with them not going to her wedding and has no reason to take it out on OP. My sister, who recently moved overseas for work with her family, got very angry when my dad booked a flight to visit them in a few months without telling her until after he made the booking. She said it was rude and disrespectful to do that, especially when she had previously told our family not to book flights to visit her without first giving her the heads up. This was as recently as a couple of months ago, when I had also made a booking for my own family to fly over to visit on our holiday without telling her until after we'd made our plans and booked our flights. I think she's just being difficult and should live in the moment. I think it's a nice surprise to just make our plans and tell her. Still, she said it's rude and disrespectful and assumes that she'll now need to organize her own plans with work and her own holiday leave around us when we visit. There was also an incident where she and her husband booked a flight to visit our family, but we had forgotten about it and booked a trip for my family and our parents. So there was no family in town for her to visit when her flight was booked. Am I the idiot for booking flights to visit my sister overseas without telling her first? How out of touch can you possibly be? Apparently very. You are the idiot. It is rude and very disrespectful to do this. It's selfish of you to assume that they'd be fine with this. You've made a decision that affects them and didn't even have the courtesy to ask. It's selfish. It's rude. It's disrespectful. They've already told you they don't like this and find this behavior unacceptable. Yet you still did it again anyway. Ridiculously rude and entitled. The cherry on top is that your previous actions, while unrelated to this situation, are just added to confirm you're a selfish idiot. Dude, your sister's life doesn't revolve around your schedule, and it's not fair to expect her to drop everything to accommodate your last-minute plans. She has her own work and personal commitments to manage, and it's not reasonable to assume that she'll be available whenever you decide to visit. She deserves an apology and a change in your behavior. People have their lives and do not live to entertain you.